Hi there, I'm Inam, one half of Mistresses of Mayhem. In this episode, we take a look at how we are trying to break down generational curses and how we are trying to be intentional in how we are raising our kids so that they don't become or live within our traumas. Let us know what you think about this episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Enjoy!
You know how they go, oh, motherhood, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's blah, 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 blah. It is. It's also the worst.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And even though people speak openly about the challenges that you are faced, I don't. So my sister, she was an open book when it came to parenting. And she was the only parent, up until then, I've never heard a parent call their kids arseholes. Now I do it because kids are arseholes. They're awesome, but they're arseholes. And she was so open about it, about the struggle. And I don't think people talk about that enough. I don't think people go, fuck me, the shit is hard. I have not slept. The arseholes were up at 3 o'clock. I mean, day before yesterday, Sebi was up at 4:20. Harry religiously wakes up at 4 o'clock every morning, and like a couple of days ago, Sebi was up at 1:30. Harry was up at 3:30, and it's like, and then
Yeah.
and you have no choice. You cannot be pissy with them because they had a bad dream. You cannot be pissy with them because you have not had enough sleep. I mean, they're still little things with needs, and they want comfort, and it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And it's okay to not be okay with your kids.
Yes.
It's okay with that.
But society doesn't paint that picture, because then you're a bad mom.
Listen, we're all bad moms. Like, if
Yes.
that's the standard, then we're all bad moms.
But here's the thing. I know that my kid will go to therapy one day and complain about me.
Oh, yeah, they should.
No, they should. But as long as I do better with them than what my parents did to me, then it's progress. And my mom did better for me than what her parents did for her, because she tried. You know what I mean? And as long as I think you try and improve on yourself and try and instill that in your kids, and give them the platform to be able to say, oh, mom, you fucked up. You know?
No, definitely. I think growing up, you'd see your parents work hard. You'd see your mom, bending over backwards. Not physically or literally, but just...
My mom had back problems.
doing the most, for you.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes you'd feel like, well, but instead of working, it would have been nice to have 5 minutes playing with you.
Yeah.
But as youngsters, you take that in. Like, you're
Yes,
like, okay,
you
cool.
internalize it.
You internalize it. You're like, okay, cool, mom's busy. Let me just go do my own thing. And then you end up with mommy problems, saying, my mother never cared about me because she was always working and I didn't care about the work, even though, like, I'm reaping the benefits of all that hard work right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I went to a good school because mom was working her ass off. I think what we need to do more of is let our kids know why we're working this hard.
Yes.
And then not be like, assume that they know why.
Or try and keep it from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a very valid point. I slip up there. I just go, okay, mommy needs to work. Why? Because I need to work to get money so we can do stuff. But that doesn't...
Not for them.
That's like, okay, then you... Ooh. So I'm doing this course that I told you about with this one lady, Christy Marie Sheldon. She's awesome. And in one of the stuff, she clears like blocks and stuff that goes back to stuff, because a lot of the things that you take on yourself, you imprint before the age of 7, definitely before the age of 10. And one of the things that I bought and sold to myself was that, because I grew up in a household where my mom had a lot financially, well off, had fucking everything I could ever desire. And my dad had nothing. he scraped and he saved, and well, didn't really save because he didn't have much to save, but he scraped. And my dad's household, there was more love, even though my stepmom didn't like me much. There was
stepmoms do that.
Yeah, but she liked my sister. It was me. So there was that, but it was less confrontational than my mom's house. My mom's house had every luxury I could ever want. I mean, I didn't even have to make my bed in the morning. I didn't have to do anything. I mean, literally, I had everything. But she was in such an abusive relationship that it made the household unhappy and dark. And growing up with that, and then and having money, and then growing up with absolutely nothing,
but
feeling safe. It's you make a choice in your mind, going, okay, I would prefer not to have anything but choose love. You know, so it's weird the amount of shit that you buy and sell to yourself as a kid without actually talking about it. So if my mom actually sat down and said, it's not and or, I made this choice, I'm trying to get out of it. You don't need to choose between this and this. It's and, it's not or. So I can still love my mom and the memory of my mom and still be pissed at her. It's an and, not an or.
Yeah. It's also just hard explaining your struggle, because you don't necessarily think about explaining every single struggle to your kid, and you shouldn't. So for example, Liwa would come back from so-and-so's house or whatever and come back and say things like, why don't we have a house with an upstairs? I want a house with an upstairs. Or why don't we have this type of car? I want this type of thing. Or I'm just like, because we don't. Because it's not like, oh yes, we'll get it one day. It's like, yeah, if I want it, we'll get it. But not everyone's life is the same. Our lives are different. And not just let the kid make their own assumptions about things. It's like, well, this is where mommy and daddy is currently. This is why we have this car instead of this car. This is why we have this type of house instead of this other type of house. This is what our dreams and stuff, are. This is what we're working towards, so that he can also understand that we're also not stagnant. We also have dreams and wishes, and he should also continue to have dreams and wishes. He shouldn't feel like he's in a stuck place. I remember when I went to boarding school as well, and from going to a boy-girl school that was not like the best school, to then going to an all-girls school that was like a much better school, and you get thrown into the realities of what you have and what you don't have, because you see all these other kids with all these other things, and you're like, am I gonna fit in? Like, why am I even here? Like, I don't have half the things that these people have. And then you start resenting your parent. In their mind, my kid is in a better space, they're in a better school, they have better opportunities, I'm doing the right thing. My side is like, this woman is trying to torture me. Like, you're sending me to this place where I can't compare to these kids. Like, it's hard being here. I'm also not seeing people that look like me. I'm barely, fitting in. The teachers don't understand. Like, you go through all these motions, but you're expected as a kid to just soldier on, and also, to just accept that mom is doing this because it's best for me, therefore I just need to figure shit out. And it's difficult. And then I had this conversation with my mom recently, actually. We were talking about sending kids to formal Model C schools for the sake of better education, but then you are not, one, explaining to them what it means, and two, you're not understanding the challenges that they'll have. Just because they're in a better school does not necessarily mean that they are not struggling with fitting in, with all sorts of things. It's important to realize that there are going to be issues just because they're in a better situation. They're going to be little things like, I don't have the same uniform, or my uniform is not new, I'm buying secondhand uniform because we can't afford, or I'm not doing all the lavish sports because I can't afford the sports uniform that comes with it, but I'm here I show up, but I also can't necessarily show up at my best in the school because there's still like 100 other things that I can't do because, you know, we don't have the money at home or things like that. So it's like little things like that. It's like, but if you have the conversation with your child, one, they'll explain to you how they're feeling. Because at the most, they're probably not even saying these things to you. And then two, you can also understand that maybe it's not to not put them in that better situation, but it's also to get a sense of understanding, and then also realize that maybe what you perceive as the best is not necessarily always
not their best.
That's actually,
I don't look back at my teenage years or even my younger years now. I mean, there were bright moments, but I mean, for the most of it, I started young on not antidepressants but anti-anxiety meds. Yeah, I mean, I must have been about 9, 10. I had to go. I went to go see a psychologist, a psychiatrist actually, who put me on meds because I couldn't cope with the home situation. Yes, but what was bad was Dave went with to the psychiatrist, and they sat outside, so I could not tell the psychiatrist what was bugging me because he was outside.
He was just there.
So I just blamed my teacher for everything because I could not be honest. I blamed my teacher, and my mom flew into the teacher like a motherfucker because there's one thing about my mom, she was a lioness. Fucked up in a lot of ways, but she loved us. But holy fuck, and it's like I could not come clean because the fucker's right there. What's he gonna do?
No, that's intense. That's so intense. And when you went to go see the psychiatrist, was it something that you spoke to your mom? Was she the one who said, let's take you to get help? Or
I think it was actually the GP.
Okay.
Because I kept on having tummy problems. Or not tummy problems, I kept complaining my tummy sore. And the GP could find nothing wrong, put me on meds, and then eventually said, okay, it's probably
mental.
Because kids internalize to such a degree. But I mean, it is scientific fact that your body stores trauma. And it affects you on a cellular level. Making your telomeres shorter and a whole bunch of other things, but it's fascinating to know that, but yet we still don't do anything about it.
No, we don't.
No. Again, it comes back to that physical, mental thing. You support your physical side, but you don't. It's like, okay, I'm feeling this and this. My heart is beating out of control. I'm having a panic attack. Okay, cool. Let's get that sorted. Let's go on beta blockers. Let's do this. Let's do that, and treat the symptoms. Meanwhile, if you go back and you trace it, it's because I'm stressed about this. I'm stressed about month end. I'm stressed about money. I'm stressed about bills. I'm stressed about this. It's bringing on panic attacks, which is bringing on this. You know, instead of dealing with that, you just go, oh yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it. No, humans are funny. I don't know how we're ever gonna get to a space where we are focusing on the things that matter or that are important.
So Betty, you're awesome, showed me something yesterday in therapy. Okay, cool. So this one is unaware and aware. Not like aware, but aware. And this one is unable. Okay. And then you have 4 windows or quadrants. Whatever situation you face, you either face it from one of these 4 things. Either you are unaware and unable to change it, or you're aware of it and unable to change it, which is the most painful one, which will be like, for example, a parent that doesn't love you. You're very aware of it. You're unable to change it as much as you try. And then you get unaware and able to change it, which means it hasn't dropped into your awareness yet, which is just patterns and stuff, subconscious patterns and programming that just keeps repeating itself, but you're not aware of it. But the place where you want to be is over here, which is aware and enabled. Yeah. And any problem that you face, any programming, any problem that you face, you can actually categorize
where it sits.
So if you are unable to do anything about your current situation, why are you stressing about it?
That is hard, though, to not stress about things you have. It is a practice that needs to be done over and over and over.
But here's the thing, though. I think when you reach that point of kindness with yourself, and you go, listen, brain, I know you're just trying to protect me by trying to think of possible outcomes and how this can play out. You're trying to protect me and trying to forecast past into future so that I can be prepared. You're not fucking helping me and then deal with the situation as it is. Because very often we try to, as Joe Dispenza puts it, we try to put the past into a predictable future. But you can't blame our brain. It's literally just trying to protect us. And if you approach it from a place of love, going, I know you're doing this out of love. You're trying to protect us. Thank you, but no.
I hope Liwa and Sebs, Harry and Tongo grow up they learn real life skills. And I'm also putting myself out there to be the person to teach them that thing. It's like, if they're not going to teach you at school, then let's be intentional about you learning them at home as well.